What's up, family? My name is ElijahAmmi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a grown folk channel. This is where we have heart-to-heart conversations and keep it real. Here on this channel, everybody matters. Everybody's family. Here on this channel, we express love because at our core, we are love. I love you guys, and thank you for being with me on this beautiful journey called life. Peace.
What's up, family? Man, I'm back with Shana again. We're going to talk about abandonment and rejection and whatever else she wants to talk about. Shana?
Hi, hello everyone. This is Shana with Balanced Wellness, and thank you so much for having me back again. So today we're going to talk about abandonment. And when we talk about abandonment in psychology, it's always related to attachment styles. And attachment styles are really just the way that you show up in your relationship, the boundaries you create, how you expect your partner to treat you, and how you treat your partner. Those are your attachment styles. And pretty universally throughout psychology, there are about 4 attachment styles. They are avoidant, anxious, disorganized, and secure. And I'm going to talk about the insecure attachment styles first. And then I will touch on the secure attachment style a little bit later on, because I want to kind of bring everything full circle, give the information, and then we're able to see, okay, this is how I'm operating in my life. Let me focus on the secure attachment styles. So the avoidant attachment style, this is the person that I call the he's just not that into you. This person is emotionally unavailable, whether on purpose or unknowingly. They are emotionally unavailable. No matter how hard you try to open up to them, to have them validate your feelings, your emotions, you're always left wanting more and never quite breaking into that interaction, right? So you could be in this relationship for 6 months, 6 years, 60 years, and never ever get to know who that person is. And them never really get to know you either. And so you're constantly in a cat and mouse chase, trying to establish some connection, waking up realizing one day that you were in a relationship by yourself all along. That is what you call the avoidant attachment style. And that's not to judge anyone. It's just something for us to see in our own lives, if that's how we're interacting, if that's the type of relationship patterns that we're continuing, then we know. So that the avoidant. Now, the anxious attachment style, or what I like to call the stage 5 clinger, and I can joke about that because that used to be me, and sometimes still is. I am a work in progress, so bear with me. But the anxious attachment style, and I say that jokingly, but in all seriousness, it comes from loss. It comes from absolute soul-crushing fear that you are going to lose everything that you love and have no way to pick up the pieces after it. This person, it deals with low self-esteem issues sometimes and needs validation, tends to be a people pleaser, and you kind of settle for unsatisfactory relationships. Everyone has that friend. They seem like they have it all together, and for some reason, they just can't get it right with their romantic partner, no matter how, and it's just like complete mismatch. It doesn't even make sense, some of the things that they put up with. That person is possibly operating in an anxious attachment style where they develop close relationships. It's actually called enmeshment. That's how close. Jamaican people, we call it benchambati. Like you have no space between your butt and the seat. They're on you. They're texting you. They're calling you. They're afraid. It's a protection measure to keep loss, but they end up pushing you away. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is the anxious attachment style. And they tend to be attracted to the avoidant attachment style, the cat and mouse. You run, I chase. That person didn't have the affection that they needed, so they're trying to get it from their partner. That person didn't get the affection they needed, so they don't know how to show it to their partner. And the cycle continues and perpetuates. Now, the disorganized attachment style, I call that the runaway bride or the serial monogamous. This person has the ability to enter into relationships. They are endearing, they're charming, but when the relationship gets to the point of real intimacy, that deep emotional connection that's required, they pull away. They may get married, they may have a series of marriages, but they're never able to quite organize their attachment and their love for that person. And anytime it gets too demanding, too taxing, they tend to pull away. That is the disorganized attachment style. So if you see anything in your own life that kind of relates to those attachment styles, there are definitely things that can help you. I always mention cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's something that we'll talk about with coaching that we can talk about a little bit further on. But another thing that you want to be very aware of, it's attachment styles. Insecure attachment styles don't necessarily happen in childhood. This can be something that you've developed over a lifetime of unhealthy relationships. You may have had a very secure upbringing and found yourself with heartbreak or loss, and now you operate in that constant state of fear. And I mentioned before, when you're always operating in fear, it creates neural pathways in your brain. It changes the structure of your brain. And so your response in loving situations is fight or flight. Your response in a regular argument between your partner is fight or flight. They can't leave because they're going to leave me. Those are the situations and attachment styles that we have to pay attention to. And did you have anything you wanted to interject in on that?
Question for you. Is it possible to have, because so often we put things in a box and it's one or the other, but is it possible to have character defects or traits of each one of those?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're definitely interchangeable, especially when you see things like the avoidant and the disorganized. We're talking about love bombing and pulling away. We're talking about showing emotions when they need support, but pulling away when you need it. Those are the intermingling of the two attachment styles. The anxious attachment style, I don't really see it as much in the avoidant, but you can also see it in disorganized, because these people, again, are not able to organize the way that they feel about you. So they may be hot one day and cold one day. They may be trusting of you one day and then anxiously afraid that you're going to leave them. So they definitely do intermingle, and your attachment styles can change throughout your life. You can go from secure and then have someone break your heart, and now you have an anxious avoidant attachment style. So yes, they definitely do intermingle. And some characteristics that you want to look out for, there's something called proximity maintenance, and that just means that whoever you're in proximity to, you're going to have attachment to. You see this a lot in Stockholm syndrome and abuse survivors, where just because that person is in close proximity to them, they develop an attachment to them. And that's something that you have to look out for. Those are other characteristics of abandonment issues, or what I like to call abandonment anxiety, because it really is anxiety related to abandonment, and what you've experienced in the past has now affected the way that you show up in relationships now. So and then secure attachment. I was going to talk about secure attachment in your relationship, but I think that it would be better served to talk about having a secure attachment with yourself.
Yes.
Because if we don't heal our own trauma, then we'll be trauma bonded to someone else and either destroy their life or further destroy our own. Yeah. So when I talk about secure attachment, I talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, doing very deep inner work. I call them the ABCs. A, awareness. Mindfulness is so important. Taking mindfulness courses, finding a coach, a therapist to do daily, consistent mindfulness, where you are addressing what you need to address. You're allowing your thoughts to come up. you're accepting them, and then you're allowing them to release. That mindfulness has saved my life, and it's been amazing for the people that I help. B, ABC. So B is breath. Always remember your breath. And this is focused breathing. Some people use the 7-7-7 method, 7 seconds in, hold for 7, and release for 7. What I personally like is the Wim Hof. It's WIMHOFF. I think he's the Iceman Cometh guy on if you look up on one of those channels. But he has a breathing technique that, I mean, this will immediately change your thought patterns, your anxiety. And I don't usually say immediately quick fix. This is an immediate change in the way that you're feeling. And I mean, I've gone from feeling at my absolute lowest and saying, you know what, let me do this Wim Hof breathing technique before I scream at these kids or something like that. So I do the Wim Hof breathing technique, and I'm able to connect with my breath, connect with my body, connect with my mind, and bring everything back to center. That's something that's been really helpful for me. And then another thing, the C of the ABCs is cued body scan meditation. Body scan meditation is a practice that has been around, I want to say, for 5,000 years. And that's recently been implemented, I think, in the 70s and 80s. They're starting to do more mindfulness-based practices. And with this mindfulness body scan meditation, these are cued responses. So they start at the base of your head, and you envision yourself releasing all of the tension from your head and untying all the muscles and letting everything loose and untie. And as you're saying these things or thinking these things, you come up with a cued response. Yours can be relax and breathe and see and visualize all of the tension in your head releasing, and then relax and breathe and see all of the tension in your shoulders releasing, and relax and breathe, and do this throughout your body to rid your body of these negative feelings that you're holding on to. And the ABCs are very helpful. It gives you something to always refer to and look back to, and kind of like guidelines to help you through this process, because it can be difficult. And I would say that you would start to notice changes in about 7 weeks if you're practicing every single day and taking time out of the day to practice. Not necessarily doing it all day, every day, but saying, okay, right now is the time I'm going to sit down and do my mindfulness practice and address whatever it is I need to address this day. So these are just some tools and things to help you once you realize, okay, that's my attachment style. This is the person that the people that I'm usually attracted to, and how do I now heal from that trauma and show up differently in my relationships to have more healthy outcome going forward.
Cool. It's interesting that we're having this conversation about brain fart, about abandonment, because abandonment can be viewed in so many different ways, and so many of us don't even, especially guys, we don't even realize that we have abandonment issues.
Yeah.
And it's like, speak for me, for example, when my mom died at 2 years of age. And the thing about triggers I want to touch on is that triggers are so critical to our growth and development. We get mad because people trigger us, and we don't understand that that's God's way, the Most High's way, the universe's way of saying, hey, you have some stuff here that you need to resolve. And this is why you're offended. This is why you're pissed off. This is why you're hurt, because it's not these people. It's I'm trying to get your attention because there's some underlying issues here that you need to look at. And so the first time I felt abandonment was when my mom died at 2. And I didn't realize, because she was just brutally murdered. And so I lost all of that. There was no closure, none of that. And then I fell in love with this young lady who broke my heart, and then it's like, oh my gosh, And so then I hooked up with this other young lady, and her family just upped and moved to Kansas. You know what I mean? And so it's like, oh my, and so in my mind, I wasn't even aware of the fact that I'm building a pattern of, getting in relationships, and the people that mean the most to me are the ones that end up leaving. And it was just to get me to understand that not that you're not worthy, it's not that you're not lovable, but that's what we think. You know what I mean? I'm not good enough. Nobody wants me. And it's not that at all. It's the fact that, man, you got this issue going back to the root cause. Your mom passed away and you haven't had closure. You didn't resolve that. And so all these other people are going to come in your life and they're going to leave you and they're going to hurt you and they're going to do all these other things to get you to understand that you got to go back to the root cause of the pain. But what most of us do is we get stuck on the, hey, this person left me. This person broke my heart. I must suck. I must be unworthy. I'm not lovable. I'm not valuable. I'm not none of these things. And it's not reality. And then I got married to my younger kid's mom and she left and went back to her ex-boyfriend. And so it's like, oh my gosh, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? And so it's like, man, to me, everybody was validating that I sucked. Everybody was validating that I wasn't worthwhile. Everybody was validating that I wasn't shit, would never be shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and then my last wife, she passed away from cancer. And so it was like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? And so it's just like,
can a brother get a break though? Right.
So, but it was after that God had to break me down. It's like, look, dude, you got to do some stuff. You had to do, and it wasn't my wife. It was the fact that her last conversation with me, she was sitting there and she'd had a stroke like a few days before. And she was in and out of, she was already on hospice and she was in and out, she was already transitioning out. And so she went out. And so I was just monitoring her breathing and everything. And she came back to and she's like looking around, just surprised where she was at. And she said, man, I was just talking to your mom. And I was like, you never met my mom. My mom died before you were born. You know what I mean? And she's like, I know, but I was just talking to your mom. And she told me to tell you that she loved you and that she's proud of you. And I was like, what the heck? And now I'm mad because I've always wanted my mom to come and tell me that. Now I'm mad at my wife who's getting ready to die because she's talking to my mom. And I couldn't talk to my mom. It's like, well, how come my mom couldn't come tell me? So I'm mad and jealous of my wife, for talking to my mom, abandonment issues, And so she passed away like a couple minutes right after that, right?
Oh my God.
That's when I realized that, man, you know what, Elijah? It was so critical that my wife was telling me about my mom because I never put the two together. I never realized that, man, Elijah, you have this issue with people leaving you because of how your mom left.
Got me.
And every woman that you really cared about has left in some way, shape, or form. But you misunderstood it and thought that women suck and you sucked and all that. But I was trying to get you to understand that, hey, you had issues going back to your mom that you had to resolve. I don't know if that's making sense or if anybody.
It just made me. It just because at the moment that she's transitioning, she's able to send a message to you.
Yeah.
It's something that you've needed to hear for so long.
Yeah.
And that you may not have received in any other moment, in any other way.
Yeah.
And I think that is God's way of, like you said, like bringing things back to you. That it's gonna. You think you're over it, and then it comes back. Yeah. And you think I'm fine, and it comes back, and you have that same reaction. And I think that moment was so beautiful because that's like you see God working. Yeah. That was something that you would only have received in that moment.
Yes.
And you would only have received from that person.
Yes.
And I just think that it just solidifies your purpose and what you're here to do. And I think that's amazing. Yes. I think that's an amazing message.
Yeah. But I'll bring that up because I want us to understand that we're going to keep feeling abandoned and rejected. And so many of us misunderstand that lesson. So many of us misunderstand why we go through those things because we want to be the victim. We want to feel like, man, these people hurt me and this hurt and this sucked and we never understand, man, I got to go back to the root cause. As long as I get fixated on you, then I'm
Yeah.
never going to find the answer. I'm never going to heal. I'm never going to grow. As long as I'm blaming you for leaving, as long as I'm blaming you for breaking my heart, I'm never going to grow. I'm never going to heal. What was the
Yeah.
lesson in this? Why
Mhm.
did that piss me off so much that you left? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who else left me in the past? Did I lose a pet? You know, did an animal die that I loved? Did a grandparent leave did one of my best friends leave? And all these things can be triggers on something back to something as simple as you had a childhood friend that moved away and you
Yeah,
never
it's
got to
true.
see them again. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's very true. And we look at situations like that. That's what I was mentioning before. I'm like, we can't blame our parents on this one all the time. The parents get a lot of blame, but they can't get blamed for this because some of this it's just depending on relationships in general and how you're showing up in your relationships and the boundaries that you have. So if you were raised, in a healthy, secure environment, but you're still picking up all of these negative patterns from something else that you may experience you're not even aware of, the cycle will continue. I'm living, it's so funny that you're mentioning that. I literally just had a conversation with someone and they were like, oh, well, these people treat me this way. And I said, well, I understand that and that sucks, but what are you going to do with that pain? Oh, I hate them. No, that's what we did when we were 5 and 6. We're old. Like, what are you going to do with that pain? They never had thought about it that way. Well, I was a kid when this happened to me. How am I supposed to deal with that pain? I said, well, you're not a kid anymore. I understand what happened to you because you know why? Because your vulnerability and it's your caretaker. So all your trust, it's your safe haven, it's your foundation. All your trust is in that person. And when you don't get what you feel you need, whether your parents are completely detached or they are the same sort, they're the source of your fear and love. The parents that have the extreme rage and violence, but they also show the nurturing side, that leaves that person disorganized throughout their life. And so and there's a mnemonic device that I found out, it's called visceral. And I know that the initial thing is to validate your emotions. For so long we've been told, and I say for my culture, like, oh, emotion, depression, man, that's nothing, man. You should be blessed. You're happy. You have a nice house. That's not a real thing. No, I am feeling depressed right now. I am feeling anxiety right now. My feelings are valid. They're here for a reason. I accept them, and I realize that in order to heal, I have to let them go.
Yes.
Can you imagine that self-love and compassion that just gives for you? Even me just saying that now, it's because we've been taught so long, I'm fine, everything's fine, I got it. No, I'm actually upset right now. I'm nervous right now. I'm feeling a little insecure.
Yes.
That's my true and authentic feelings. And you lose your authentic self. You forget who you are when you have all these other voices and all this other stimuli coming at you. It's like everything is trying to get you to forget. I mentioned before about how I was watching something and it says addictive, binge worthy. And this is not, benefiting me in any long-term way. It's not teaching me business practices. It's just absolute toxicity. And they're telling you right there in your face what it is. Yes. Everything is set and designed to help you forget, that you forget who you are. Your true authentic self is love. Are you laughing?
No, you know what? Because I wanted to touch on this, and I'm so glad you brought that up.
Oh,
Perfect segue. Awesome.
yes.
One of the things, the hardest lessons that God had to show me in regards to all the abandonment stuff, it wasn't even about all the other people.
Okay.
It wasn't even about my mom. It was the fact that I had abandoned and rejected me. I had rejected the boy, the young man in me. I had rejected my purpose, my calling, my mission. And so we get so fixated on all these people. And the reality is, man, that little boy, that little girl in us that we ignore, that little boy in us, that little girl in us that we stop listening to, that we dismiss and that we minimize and that we invalidate, we're abandoning them. We're rejecting them. All the dreams and hopes and aspirations that we had as kids growing up, all the things that we wanted to do. And man, I'm going to do this. And man, I'm going to do this. And man, this is why I'm here. And woo do woo do woo. And then somebody shuts us down. Somebody makes us feel bad. Somebody makes us feel like we can't do that. We're not good enough to do that. And then we start believing, man, I must have been stupid to think I could do that. Man, who am I to think that I could have been that? Who am I to think that I should have been this, or what I could have accomplished this? And so we shut that kid down. We shut those dreams and those aspirations down. And so now we're going through our whole life being abandoned by other people. You know what I mean? And the whole purpose is to get us come full circle. Like, hold on, wait, time out. How can you get mad at other people for abandoning you, and you've abandoned yourself? You've already given up on yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. But
I didn't even look at it that way. I didn't even think about it that way. You're abandoning yourself by believing what the abandonment of others has done to you.
yes.
Wow. That's
Because
another perspective that I did. Yeah, no, that's another perspective, because you're now you're stunted.
Yes.
You're not allowing yourself to become your true potential.
Yes.
Wow. And you're constantly living in that same cycle of remembering what other people say about you.
Yes.
It's not what you say about yourself. It's regurgitating what other people say about you. And you don't get to become, and I'm sitting here thinking like, I wrote a poem when I was younger about that, about sitting back and wondering how and why, and not allowing and holding on to your dreams and not letting them die. And it's with age and time, we lose our hope. Try to find reasons and ways to cope with the loss of innocence, passion, and youth. Killing yourself daily with, I wrote this when I was in elementary school, with rediscovered truth about past hopes and dreams deferred, never realizing that the voice inside you needs to be heard. But once again, you ignore your potential, ignoring the voice and rekindling judgmental thoughts and feelings that some may say. Life is a game we all must play. We all will try. We all will, how's it go? We all prevail, but if we try harder, we will prevail, something like that. And I wrote that when I was a kid, and because I had just read Langston Hughes' Dream Deferred, and that's what inspired that. And that's so interesting that that's exactly what you just articulated in a more
And
concise.
you didn't even share that for the magazine.
No, I'm not gonna share my kindergarten. That is a baby.
Hey, but you know, that was you with your pure essence.
Yeah, I freestyled that because I used to freestyle with my little friends, and like I was like, I just freestyled that one day, and it comes back to me anytime I have doubt, and I always remember it from that age.
Yeah.
But
you need to put that in the magazine. Somebody else needs to read that. Seriously.
Okay.
That was like deep, though. Seriously, because you know the great majority of adults don't even think like that. Yeah. And when you stop and think about it, we all came here. Our souls, every one of our souls came here for a purpose. Yeah. Every single one of our souls came here for a purpose. We had an agenda of what we were going to accomplish in this life, what we want to work on in this life, what we were going to produce in this life. Every single one of us have some type of gift, and many of us have multiple gifts. And the truth is, the great majority of us abandon our gifts. The great majority of us are not walking in our purpose. The great majority of us sit back because somebody has rejected us or somebody's told us that we're not good enough, and we've forfeited our gifts. You know, and it's a trip because in the Bible, Jesus was talking about him giving those people the gifts. You know, the guy that got the one gift, he just buried it. He didn't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? And that's what so many of us do in our lives, you know, and that's why the great majority of us will never reach our full potential. That's why the great majority of us will never walk in our purpose. That's why the great majority of us don't have the authority that we're supposed to have, and don't have the voice and the power that we're supposed to have, because we forfeited our gifts and we've abandoned our calling. We've abandoned who we are and what we came here to do. The late Dr. Miles Monroe said something that just blew me away. The wealthiest place in the world are the graveyards, not the banks.
Yes, I just heard that. I heard that speech.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The wealthiest place in the world are the graveyards of all the abandoned dreams, all the abandoned businesses, all the abandoned art and music and science and all the paintings and
The
everything.
books. Yeah, he said
Books
the
that was
books.
supposed to
Yeah.
have been written and completed and done, but because of our insecurities, because of our fears, because we've abandoned who we are and what we came here to do, and we didn't believe in ourselves, we took those things to the grave and we robbed humanity of the gifts that we're supposed to leave them.
I come on here like I know my stuff. I'm gonna come and drop some knowledge, and then you're like, no, I got you. But no, but that I have been preparing for this, and I told you earlier I did storytelling festivals when I was 8, and I would write my entire life. And for the long, I don't know when I forgot, but for a long period of my life, I didn't live in my authentic self. I didn't write, and I think that writing is like my lifeblood. I have to write. If I don't write, I don't exist. And I go years without it. And when I start to tap into my authentic self, things start to align. I have peace. I have purpose. My mental fog is gone. I even look better. I feel better. And it's so interesting that I wanted to be a journalist. I don't know if I mentioned that I won a writing competition, and I was sent to California at 16 to USF for a writing competition that they chose 50 kids out of the nation, and I was one of them. And now 20 years later, I'm back in Cali writing. Isn't that something?
It's crazy that you bring that up. When I was in high school, I was on you had like the high school newspaper. And I was like one of the editors for the newspaper. And I actually loved writing. And I was just talking to my sister about that today. I loved writing because that was my escape from my childhood. You could be anything you want to be when you write. You could be anywhere in the world when you write, and that was just my escape from my reality. And I gave all that up, and I totally forgot all about that. And then now you and I are working on a magazine that we just got published yesterday, titled We're Chosen. And it was titled We're Chosen because every one of us, it's no coincidence that we're having this conversation about abandonment. Every single one of us were chosen when we came here for a purpose. But every one of us is not walking in that calling. We're not walking in what we were chosen to do, what we came here to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't for a while, and it's like coming back, forcing me now to do what I was supposed to be doing all along. I wanted to do journalism, but I didn't realize it needed a mental health portion of it. And that's what I was saying. It was a journalism camp that I won. And so journalism was my thing. And people told me, oh, you're too dark. Oh, you're pretty, but you're dark. So you may not have, or journalists don't make a lot of money, or you're going to have to travel around the world. So I said, no, I am a little, most of the people on the television are lighter than me. Maybe I should try something else. And I slowly started to do that. But life has a funny way of, if you keep on seeking out that authentic self, I'm nosy, I'm Sagittarius. I philosophize, like I need to know the philosophy behind this. I want to know how this works. And so I keep on digging in the realm of personal development and mindfulness and healing. And so now my purpose is slowly starting to be revealed. And I had a pastor prophesy over me and tell me that one day my name would be in lights, and that one day that my purpose was to heal with my words. And I brushed it off. And my sister, he told my sister the same thing, and she's a nurse practitioner. And he told my brother the same thing about he was going to work with animals, and he has his own animal business. So I guess I'm the only one now. But I'm starting to realize that even though I feel very, very uncomfortable, there's something that unctions me to still do this. There's something that I feel satisfied when I'm done, that I've done something, that I've given back something. And I'm a little bit altruistic because I like to give and not necessarily see financial or monetary return. I like to give and know that I'm blessing people, because I know that the way that the law of the universe says, if I give of myself, it will come back to me. And the level, the amount, the passion and compassion that I give out, it will come back to me, and it has no choice to. The law of gravity, force that pulls you down. The law of attraction, you give out love and support and light, you will be compensated for it in this life and the next, and through so many ways, through this interaction and creating more and helping more people and touching more lives. So it's really amazing to watch your purpose be fulfilled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So going back to abandonment.
Yes.
And rejection. And it's like, it's crucial. And I want everybody to understand that it's not because you're not good. Yeah. It's not because you're not worthy. And I want to talk Shana, and I'm getting to put her on blast right now. She don't even know me. I already said this. I want to see if she'll come back on one day and have a conversation with me, talking about deserving love. Because that's such a big issue. That's such a big issue. And the truth is, because, you know what, going back to abandonment and rejection, that makes us feel like we're not good. It makes us feel like we're not worthy of love. Yeah. It makes us feel like we don't deserve to have that happiness. We don't deserve to have that peace. We don't deserve to have that joy. You know, that we're just a screw up, and man, if I get something good in life, okay, cool, but I don't deserve that man that's going to sweep me off my feet and just that king. I don't deserve that queen that's going to be my ride or die. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because we say that we don't deserve the people that we have in our lives. We say we don't deserve, to be mistreated the way that we do.
But then we say we don't, right?
But then we say that we don't deserve the good stuff, but we embrace all the bad stuff. Yeah. We accept all the bad stuff wholeheartedly. But the good stuff, and again, going back to abandonment and rejection, we don't believe that we can have those things. Yes. Because of our belief system. Mm-hmm. And so when you're going through rejection, you're going through abandonment, it's not because you're not good. It's not because you're not a valuable person. It's not because you're not lovable. Yeah. You are lovable. Mm-hmm. You are quality. Right. The problem is the great majority of us don't believe that about ourselves. And it's because we don't believe that about ourselves, we broadcast that energy out. And that's what other people see. Yeah. That's what other people feel. They feel that energy that we're putting out. And we're not even aware that we're putting that energy out, that, man, nobody's really going to love me. Nobody's going to really accept me for who I am. You know what I mean? I'm too dark. I'm too short. I'm too tall. My lips are too big. My feet are too big. My ears are too big. We have all these things to qualify the fact that we're not good enough. You know what I mean? As opposed to just say, man, it is what it is. I love me. I accept me. All the good, the bad, and who makes it bad? What makes being dark bad? What makes being too light bad? You know what I mean? And that's not just something that we go through in just the Black community. I've spoken to so many Hispanics, so many Asians that have the same thing. They struggle with the same thing. You know what I mean? Oh, you're too white to be Hispanic, to be a real Mexican. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the hell is that about?
What kind of mess is that? Yeah, what are you talking about?
You know what I mean? But that's the stupid stuff that we go through and we hear. You know what I mean? It's for me as a kid, man, I was gifted, just smart with education. I never studied. And with the Blacks, oh man, you're a sellout. You're an Uncle Tom because you're so smart. And it's like, what the hell is that? I'm not Black because I'm smart. I'm not even studying. And it's like, I'm trying to dumb myself down just to be accepted.
To be accepted.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And again, I'm rejecting the gift of education, of knowledge that God already put inside of me. I'm
That's so true.
gifted in this stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
turning my back on it just to be dumb, just to be accepted by everybody else. You know what I mean? And it's like
Talk like a white girl.
yeah.
So I stopped talking. So I don't talk online. I'm afraid to let myself be seen because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm relatable. So yeah, I can relate.
Runs deep. It runs deep.
It runs so deep.
How we reject ourselves.
So when you say that word deserve is so hard for me. And I talked about
Time out. Pause. You just sat there and said, I know you just sat there and said, man, universal law says that what I put out has to come back. You know, science has a thing of cause and effect. If this happens, this is going to happen. You know, you reap what you sow. So there's all these things that, you know, we know.
But we apply. Yes.
We know that this is just the reality. And so we've done all the work. If we're loving and compassionate and giving unconditional, and we're doing this stuff not to be seen, not to pop our collar, not to, you know, look at me, I'm doing this and I'm giving this people this, and we don't do it.
Yeah, that's not what it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We do it just because of the compassion in our heart, the love that's within us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How is it that we're planting all of these seeds? We're planting what you reap. You reap what you sow. You've sown all this good stuff.
Yeah.
We're so loving and so giving. We'll give the shirt off our back. We'll give the last dime to somebody. We'll buy for other people before we buy for ourselves. We'll do all this stuff to help everybody else. And so if we do that, how is it that we can't, and we know you reap what you sow, law of attraction, harvesting, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, harvest.
We know all of that. Mm-hmm. So how can we not accept the fact that, man, I deserve this?
Right.
Because of all the hard work that I've done, because of all the things that I've done for other people. And I didn't do it because I was looking for these things, but that's still universal law. Yeah. I can't change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a trip because you can walk by or drive by on the side of the road, you'll see plants and flowers, weeds that are growing up on the side of the road. Nobody even planted those.
Yeah.
Nobody planted those intentionally. The wind picked up the seed and blew it. Somebody threw a seed out the car, a fruit out the car or whatever. And now you have this seed growing into this plant. Harvesting.
Yeah.
We do things all the time. Again, going back to abandonment and rejection. We don't realize how much we reject ourselves. We don't realize how much we've abandoned ourselves and how deep that runs. And because we've rejected ourselves, we don't believe that we deserve to be treated like a princess. We don't believe that we deserve to be treated like a queen or a king. We want it, but it's probably.
But you're like, yeah.
We justify and explain why I don't have it for us, and we're cool with that. We're cool.
That's what I say. Like couple goals. Like when we talk about secure attachment, and you see couple goals, and you know people are going on vacations and they're looking like they're living the best life. For me, couple goals are people that may or may not have been trauma bonded, but they recognize it, right? And they're no longer willing to accept the same. Both people are doing what they need to do to show up better in the relationship. They're doing their work. They're doing their meditation, their mindfulness, and then they're able to heal separately and work together as a unit to see where this person is falling short. Because like with the avoidant attachment, you're usually doing 90% of the emotional support and only getting 10%. Well, I'm like, you're doing 100% of the emotional work and probably not getting anything back at all. It is so, I think it may be some unresolved, well, it is some unresolved abandonment. I didn't even realize that the reason why I have the secure, the anxious attachment is because of the things that I went through as a child, like having someone in your life every day, and then all of a sudden them being taken away from your life. And then in addition to that, your life being uprooted, and you're now in an environment where you don't know anyone at all. And so all of your parental figures, all your caregivers are gone, and you're left to kind of fend for yourself. And I didn't even realize that until I was actually studying for this. I didn't realize that that was something that happened to me when I was 2 years old, that's still affecting the way that I show up in relationships. So self-awareness is really, really important. And you'll learn that more with mindfulness. The more mindful you are, the more you validate and accept your emotions, the more self-aware you become. And this will allow you to start to, even with me, to uncover, why does the word deserve, why is that a hot button issue for me? It really is. Like, I can say other people deserve, but if I say I deserve success, I deserve love, I deserve whatever it is, I automatically start to, and maybe it's like you said, when you create the negative pathways in your brain around love, around worth. Now, whenever you think about those things, you're going to have anxiety response, your fight or flight response. You're going to have your dukes up, thinking that you don't deserve it in your mind and your heart. So I definitely have a mental block, because I've had friends ask me, and with my past relationships, like, what are you doing with this guy? Like, what? And nothing, it wasn't a bad person. They were just in a different place of their healing. I'm trying to be nice. They were in a different place in their healing, because they were in a different place in their healing than I was. And so, but I just put up with things that, I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you. Yeah. It's just, it never really makes sense. And I would ask myself sometimes, like, why am I putting up with this? And it's because of that abandonment, and that need to, so that's some more work that I need to do, some more introspection, some more self-reflection, and some more self-love. Gratitude and self-love. I actually play a meditation every single night. It's an 8-hour sleep hypnosis. What she repeats, gratitude affirmations and self-love affirmations. And I play this for my children, and I play this pretty regularly throughout the night, just so that we have that because sometimes your dreams can affect you. So we have that subconscious conditioning that when you wake up, you know you're loved, you know you have gratitude. So just more things that I'm aware of, having everything revealed day by day as I do more digging. And it's something that I'm definitely going to, and I have been addressing, and forgiving people for not being there, or not being there in the way that I thought they should have been, because they were abandoned too. Yeah. So I'm starting to realize that I do deserve love, and I do deserve success.
Yeah.
I deserve love. I deserve success.
Yeah. And it's a trick, because you can have abandonment issues with others unless you have abandonment issues with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all the abandonment issues, it doesn't matter what category you want to look at, all of that is what's the word I'm looking for? It stems from your abandonment of self. All the abandonment things that you go through in life is a reflection of the abandonment going on within you.
Man, that is
what we see in others is a reflection of what's going on inside of us.
Yeah, yeah.
And so all the things that we go through in life, it's just to bring us back closer home.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
yeah, everything. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And whenever you know how I know that I agree, is because whenever you feel like you're doing better, you're doing the right thing, you're like, I got this, I'm over this, something will creep up.
Yes.
And remind you of your past, and remind you of that scared little boy, scared little girl, and you will react the same way. And you realize you haven't learned.
Yeah.
It's just all good talking, but you're in the right process, and it's going to take time. That's the thing. It's going to keep coming up until when it comes up, you handle it the way that the healthy way, the proper way. And then it comes up again, and you say, okay, I'm not going to react this way. I have the tools. I have my breath. I have my mindfulness. I can breathe through this. I can accept this feeling, but I don't have to let it consume me. You know, I may have made a mistake, but I'm not a screw up. I am not the mistakes I made. I'm not the mistakes of my mother. I'm not the mistakes of my father. I'm not the mistakes I've made.
Yes.
Accept yourself, love yourself, know that you're not human. You are human, and it's just work. It's work. And that's something I have to really mention. Isolation is a big thing. And so we have to get out, get in groups. I don't know. Do you have a YouTube community that you communicate with offline?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Okay. So a community that like that, a Facebook group, it is so important to have that weekly interaction, one for abandonment issues. And I just signed up for an abandonment seminar. So one for abandonment issues, and then one for social activities.
Yeah.
This is making you confront the possibility that you may be rejected. The people in the group may not like you, but someone might. And this is putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in a safe place. Once you've done a little bit of the work, you're able to interact, and it just gets you out of your comfort zone. Because if we stay in our comfort zone, we'll never heal. You have to force yourself out of it and interact with other people, interact hiking. You know, if you have a pet, go to the dog park, talk to someone, interact with someone, and let them see your personality. Let them see that beautiful smile. You know, let someone get to know you. You're amazing, and
Hey,
so many people want to know you, right?
Yeah. You know, I want to interject something right there.
Yeah.
Because many people have those things, but they're all toxic.
Yes.
Many people have those groups and those dynamics, those relationships.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And they're all drama. You know what I mean? They're all chaos. They're all hellish. You know what I mean? And so that doesn't help you grow. That doesn't help you resolve your issues. You know, you have your girlfriends, you have your homies that you go sit there and chop it up, smoke blunts with, get high with, do all this stupid
stuff. That's not
stuff.
what
Yeah, but that's all bad. You know what I mean?
No.
So I just want to point this out. So when she says that, man, have these circles and these groups that you're connecting with, men, have these groups that you're connecting with that's challenging you to grow.
Yes.
That's challenging you to deal with some stuff, because most people, they enable you to stay right where you're at. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Toxic, low vibrating frequency. Yeah, girl, he ain't shit. I don't know why you still dealing with him. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? All that negative.
That's not at all. Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Yeah.
No, when I say, and we talked about it before, activities, community, and purpose, I'm talking about Habitat for Humanities.
Yeah.
Like, do something for someone else. I know you're probably burnt out. If you're a mom, if you're a dad, you're working, you have nothing left to give. Just a little bit more.
Yes.
Just a little bit more. If you can walk by and give the older neighbor that doesn't have a car, drop off something for her, do something to give back to someone else. And then your community needs to be, this is what I say with community, surround yourself with people that bring out the very best in you. Yes. The best in you, that uplift you, that encourage you, that make you feel good about yourself, that you leave feeling empowered and not defeated. Someone that when you bring to them something negative, they're able to validate what you're saying, but they don't sit in a victim mentality. Yes. They're saying, how do you want to progress? What can you do to do better? How are you showing up in this relationship? Is there anything that you could take accountability for possibly? Yeah. This is the kind of, you don't need an echo chamber or yes men, right? And you certainly don't, you want to be around people that are purposeful. I'm a little bit anal. I don't, like, my husband's like, you got to watch other shows, Shana. You can't just be like only doing meditation and psychology. You have to interact. But I believe in success consciousness. And when you're in that level of flow, I just try to really stay focused, like with blinders on almost, where I only allow certain stimuli. But, you know, you have to surround yourself with a healthy environment. Coaching groups, Meetup has meditation. They have Black Girl Read. They have All Girl Read. They have a Mocha Girls Run, where they run on the weekends. These are the kinds of groups that you want to associate and affiliate yourself with. Things that are high vibration, things that if you are in the group and you feel uncomfortable because they're not talking about your old patterns, you're probably in the right group. If they're challenging, challenging negative stereotypes or negative thought patterns, that's the kind of group that you want to look for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up, but
no, because when I say activity, people are like, oh, I can go.
Yeah, we're gonna have a girls' night out. We all turn up and get lit, and then you know what it is. We're gonna turn into a man bashing and just the whole dynamic of your man ain't shit, your man ain't shit, my man ain't shit. You know what I mean? And that's what it turns.
It's not healthy. Yeah, it's not healthy. I lost a friend. She's not my friend anymore because I didn't go to a divorce party. And I understand the person is happy they're divorcing, but I talked to my mom because she's like a spiritual warrior, and she's a prayer warrior, and she's like very in tune with the spirit. And she's like, why are you going? I said, Shana, why are you going to celebrate someone that's breaking a covenant?
Yes.
She said, whatever the situation is, I'm sorry that happened, but you're going to celebrate a covenant, and nothing against people that do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not judging, but just for me, I can't do anything fun. Yeah. I can't really watch much things. I can't really drink. I think that all of us have a purpose, and for whatever reason, I have to be like a beacon of light. I don't know.
Yes.
Purity or something. I can't even eat certain things. Yeah. And so when I say that is, and nothing against people that do divorce parties, but it's just the negativity and the bashing of one another, and these people in our same group that look like me, I hate them, and I don't, and I will never, because that's not what love is. That's not who we are. We have to unite and love each other for all races and all ethnicities and all genders. We are all a part of God. We are all a part of the creator of the universe. And some people are here to be Shana. Some people are here to be Elijah. Some people are here to be Sarah and Susie, whoever it is. Just accept people for who they are and try to love them and avoid negativity if you can. Like, I didn't want to, they were like setting his pictures on fire. I was like, oh, snap, I don't want to do it. Yeah. And I believe in karma too. I don't want them kind of.
Yeah, but it's crazy. People don't really, and I talk about this all the time in my videos, people don't realize all that negative energy that you're bringing in, where there's crazy, toxic, and I always say dirty housewives of Atlanta. I know that's not the name of the show. But
you're going to get in trouble for that.
I say it all the time. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because it's all drama. It's all mess. You know what I mean? And so it's like we have to be mindful of the stuff that we're entertaining. If all you're watching is women complain about their relationship, if all you're hearing is guys complain about women, man, that's going into your subconscious thought. And whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, that's becoming part of you. And that's the frequency that you're on. And so it's like, we're toxic because of all the crap that we take in. You know what I mean? Whether it's watching the news all day, whether it's politics, whether it's whatever, we have to be mindful of the stuff, of the frequency, the energy that we get aligned with. You're talking about, man, I'm not going to this, divorce party. You know what I mean? Again, you're putting yourself in alignment.
Yeah.
With a certain frequency. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, no. There's a lot of things I don't do. There's a lot of things I refuse to listen to. There's a lot of things that I won't entertain as far as conversation, as far whatever. People's like, oh, you're so uppity, man. I don't care. Say what you want to say.
Yeah, that's what somebody said to me.
You know what I mean? This is my boundaries. You know what I mean? I got to protect me because I know how I used to be. You know what I mean? I know the Elijah that you don't know, back in the day. And you don't want to know that Elijah. Leave him alone. Leave him in the past. You know what I mean? So, man.
I used to be, I didn't start the fights, but I finished them. Yeah.
You put some stank on that too.
Because I would have people, because of the way that I talk, oh, you think you're better because you da-da-da. And then they would come and they touch me, and then I just black out. And I don't know, I'm not responsible. I just say that if you put your hands on me, that's grounds for termination and you will be fired. So just take with that what you will. But that was a long time ago. I mean, I could make people cry with just my words.
Yes.
Like they call kamikaze mouth.
Yes.
Like I could just rip into someone. And I said, Lord, let's use those words for good instead of evil. To encourage.
The trip when you said that was that some of us, our words are so powerful because of the energy that we carry with us. And we're not even understanding that. I was so proud of the fact that I could say some stuff to you until you go to hell in such a nice, polite way. You thought I was giving you a compliment. And I was really telling you that you wasn't shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And it's like,
yes, the Southern compliments. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to mind fuck. You know what I mean? I'm going to have you twisted, and that was like my get off, that was like my thing. And God was like, fool, no, I didn't give you that power to tear people down. I gave you that power to help people heal, to speak power, to speak life into people. You said it, I think it was a week ago, in the power of your tongue. It's life and death. It's life and death. And if you're a healer, man, you're a healer. Whether you're using your hands, whether you're using your mouth, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, we have to be mindful of that,
Sorry, God had the same conversation with me. That's why this is like, like you know what you can do with that thing, right? Do the right thing. Don't, because like somebody will say something to me and I'm like, I got an arsenal. I got hollow points. But I'm just gonna, and then be like, just please. My mom said, do Shana, please, don't do it. No, nobody with them. Do Shana, please. Because I'm having I didn't have to hit people, especially guys. I would just rip them apart. The guys that would bother me in school. Oh, please. So I'm better. I don't do that anymore. But so it's funny that I was literally thinking about something to say to someone. And God was like, that you can say something nice and make their day. You don't have to. We know that you can annihilate them. Everyone knows it. Don't annihilate them. Say something nice. And so I chose not to say anything at all. I didn't say anything nice, but I didn't say anything at all. And that was like my saving them from my wrath.
Yes. Yeah. And it's crazy because we could speak love in our words, and they could be so healing. You know what I mean? Again, everybody's at different levels in their spirituality, and we don't know where people are at. You know what I mean? And so, man, just saying something loving, man, can be the thing that changed their life around. Just saying something loving. And so often, because in our minds, like, oh, that's weak. That's punk stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go out like that, man. And you got to come hard. You know what I mean? Because if you say something nice, a lot of times where we grew up, man, you're a punk. You know what I mean? You're a punk. You're soft. And everybody's going to try you. So you had to be quick. You had to just, just throw daggers. It's like, I'm coming straight for your throat all the time, and I'm going to end it as fast as possible. And I'm going to make you feel as bad as possible. You know what I mean? And it's like, what do you get out of that? What do you get out of that? Because you're hurt. The truth is, Elijah, you're hurt. Yeah. You're dying on the inside. And that's why you want to kill them. That's why you want to crush them. That's why you want to destroy their self-esteem. That's why you want to go in hard at them. Because the little kid inside of you is crying out. The little kid inside of you is hurting. Yeah. I don't know if that's making sense, but
it must be so hard to be men, is what I'm thinking. Like, you can't even show, and I can say this for being a Black woman. Black women have never really accepted me, again, for the way that I talk and act. But I can't imagine the entire society of being a Black guy, a Black man, and not being able to show your vulnerability. You're only allowed to show anger, right? You're not allowed. That's what I'm thinking about, how hard it must be for men all men really, but
Mhm.
especially black men, because I think that's the community that has the most trauma that from what I can see in my own personal interactions, right? It just seems like you're not allowed to be full men.
You know,
Seems like you're,
and it's a trip because it's black men, but it's all men. Because
yeah.
I'm part Native American, and I've been on some of the reservations in Montana, and I've been on some of the reservations in California.
Mhm.
And if the truth be told, you haven't seen poverty until you've gone to some of the reservations. I don't care whether you look at Mississippi, some of the most broke, tore down cities in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. You haven't seen broke and destitute until you've gone to some of these reservations. You know what I mean? Of some of the Native American reservations. And you see the places that they live in, that the squalor and just the hopelessness of the reservation and the drugs and the alcoholism and just, it's just despair all the way around. You know what I mean? And you look at some of the Hispanic communities, it's the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You know what I mean? And so it's men.
Mhm.
And the trip is most of us never been taught how to be men. And I'm gonna do a conversation, have somebody on. I want to have a Zoom conference, maybe with a couple of women and a couple of guys, and have this dialogue of what it means, as far as the difference between males and men, because it's like night and day,
Yes, it is.
but most guys have never been taught how to be emotional.
Yeah.
To embrace their emotions, to embrace their feelings. And so we grow up thinking that, man, if you fall down and you're crying and you're whining, man, you're acting like a punk. Men don't cry. Boys don't cry. Why are you crying? You ain't bleeding. Man up. Stop crying. But when our daughters fall down, oh, baby, we're going to pick them up. Let me kiss you. Oh, wait. And so we're treating our daughters this way. And our daughters are able to sit down. We're able to play house. And grown guys, they'll sit down and they'll play Barbies with their daughters, and they'll play house and they'll play all this other stuff. But when it comes to having a heart-to-heart conversation about their feelings, about their emotions, men, for the most part, guys, for the most part, clarify that, guys don't know how to do that because we've never been taught how to do that. And so then we grow up, and the only emotion we're able to deal with, to accept, is anger, is rage, And so we get out on the court, and man, we go hard. We get out on the football field. We go hard. We get out on the baseball field. We take out all of our rage. We go hard at whatever sports, athletics we're able to embrace. And we let that energy out on the court, on the field. We leave it all out there, But then when we come back, it's like, okay, man. And the trip is, when you look at guys, the only time that guys are allowed to be emotional and it's accepted for them to be emotional is when sports. So you see all these grown guys, grown, quote unquote, men, when their team lose, it's okay to see them cry. It's okay to see them hug each other and console each other because they're broken, because they lost. You see all these guys, their teams lose the championship, or when the Rams win the championship and their teams lost or whatever. You see all these grown men crying and just going off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the only time in America, it's okay for guys to be emotional is was lost due to sports. You know what I mean? Even at funerals, a guy could go to a funeral and you don't even have to know the people, but you see everybody else getting choked up. You see everybody else crying. And it's like, dang, now I feel bad. I don't even know the dude that's dead. I don't even know the woman that's dead, but everybody else is emotional. And so now I get emotional. And guys, man, one of the things I learned from the streets is that when you see women crying, man, it's a manipulation tactic. They're trying to brainwash you. They're trying to trap you. They're trying to trick you. And so, man, she starts whining, she starts crying, and she gets on one. Man, cut her off, man, kick her to the curb. You ain't got time for that crap. She's gonna make you a sap. She's gonna make you a sucker. She's gonna punk you. She's gonna do all these things because she's playing with your emotions. She's trying to soften you up. She's trying to make you into her punk. She's trying to make you into her B. You know what I mean? And that's what she's trying to do. And so when you look at the guys from the streets, from the hood, I mean, they got time for women when they start crying. It's like, I ain't got time for this. Come talk to me.
Yeah. They can't deal with the emotions. It's like, it's too much. Yeah.
And so a lot of guys, it's like, man, I'm out. Deuces. You know what I mean? Why? Because I love you. I care about you, but I can't deal with this because I've never learned how to deal with my emotions. And when you start crying and you start getting emotional, I'm triggered.
Yeah.
Your emotions are triggering my emotions, and I can't handle that. I can't process that. So deuces, I'm out. I ain't got time for this. You're doing too much. You know what I mean? You're doing the most.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, any kind of emotion. So it's just, I would love to see that, or even be a part of just hearing. I don't think it's said. I don't think it's said often enough that how difficult it must be to be, provider, protector, leader, teacher, and then not allowed to have the full gamut of emotions, but still be responsible for teaching your family the full gamut of emotions when you weren't taught the full. So it's just something that I think is really timely that you're able to have people like you, and I've seen other guys pop up that are having similar talking points on healing, and especially for men, because women are in therapy. Women are going to therapy. Women, I think more women need to go to therapy. I think more women need to do anger management therapy, and not just the therapies that are more geared towards men, because we're each other's counterpart. Yeah. So I'm sure there are things in our lives that we can mirror and say, is he always the one that's reacting angrily, or is it me? What can I do to change this? And so taking anger management, I took anger management, taking, doing different things, exercise and things to get yourself to let these things go, but also to be accepting and understanding that if someone is actually trying to do the work and putting in the effort, that they're a work in progress, and we're all supposed to just meet each other where we're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit off topic, but it all comes right back.
No, it came back. No, I think that's abandonment. Yeah. That's emotional abandonment.
Yes.
Absolutely. No, that's abandonment. If someone's crying and you're not able, that you're displaying avoidant attachment or disorganized attachment style. So these are all attachment styles, and you're probably going to have a girl that is the anxious one, that is trying to vie for your attention, trying to people please and do whatever she can to keep you in that mentality. And the gentlemen are acting out in what they were raised in. Yes. They're showing the attachment style of avoidance, of distance, of keeping the woman at arm's length. It all relates back to abandonment. Yes. Definitely. That's the first thing I thought about.
Yeah, and then it comes back to the fact that men have rejected and abandoned the fact that they are emotional. Oh. They do have emotions, that they do have feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've so disconnected ourselves from them. We've tried to, you know what I mean? Because that's punk stuff. That's weak. I ain't got time for that. I got to be hard. I got to be a thug. You know what I mean? I'm hood. You know what I mean? And so we have all these little stupid things.
So sad. Yeah.
Because we got to be seen as tough, and the trip is, and the reason why I want to have this conversation with women is because, and it's crazy. I'm going to talk to Sherry, my business partner, because we're talking about this in Jamaica, in our convention in Jamaica. We're going to have the same conversation in Jamaica. But I'm going to see if she'll come on and have you on and try to reach another guy and have the four of us engage in a conversation on this. Because the trip is, nowadays you have women that are so disconnected from their emotions, and they meet guys like myself or men like myself that are in tune with their emotions and still masculine and still manly. And there's nothing wrong. And I tell guys all the time, even when I worked in prison in California, it's not manly to hide and not cry and not show your feelings. That's a punk move.
Yeah. Because
you're afraid. The man doesn't mind showing his emotions. The man doesn't mind saying, hey, babe, I'm scared. I know you're scared, babe. I'm scared too.
Oh my
Babe, you
God.
know, babe, I'm nervous about this right here. Babe, you know what? I'm really concerned about our finances right here. I'm really concerned about this COVID thing. I'm really concerned about the gas prices right now. I'm really concerned about this war and how it's going to live. That's what a man does. That's a real man. But we got this misconception of what a man is. A man is, oh, it's going to be okay. And no, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Because you're detached, you're disconnected, you're not being your real authentic self. And so
Yep.
women look at you as like, man, I
Oh,
can't even
man.
talk to
Yeah.
you about this because you're going to minimize my feelings. You're going to minimize my fears and my insecurities and my doubt, you know, because a woman comes to a guy and she's like talking, hey, I'm really concerned about this, babe. I'm concerned. Nah, it's okay. It's gonna be. Everything's fine. Da, 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 da. And we shut her down because we ain't trying to have that conversation.
Yeah.
You know? And so she walks away feeling like, fuck, this motherfucker won't even listen to me. He keeps invalidating me. He keeps minimizing me. He keeps dismissing me. You know what I mean? And so now you have this big ordeal that's breaking out in the relationship, and it's not even intentional. It's not even that I don't love each other or we hate each other. It's not even I'm cheating on you or anything. But now you have this big thing, this division that's coming between the two of you, because now she's going to stop respecting him as much. Yeah. He's going to look at her as like, man, she's always fucking nagging. She's always fucking complaining. She's always emotional and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, now you got this wall.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And now we stop talking. Mm-hmm. You stop being your authentic self to him. He's never been authentic to you, but now you stop being authentic to him. Mm-hmm. And now there's this bridge or this gap between the two of you, this communication gap. And so what happens a lot of times is women end up having work husbands. You know what I mean? Guys end up having work wives. You know what I mean? Motherfucker, you're cheating. And I've had to tell people, you're cheating. You're a fucking cheater. I don't care what you say. You're a cheater because you're giving somebody else what you're supposed to be giving your spouse. That's part of what's supposed to be reserved for your significant other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not about sex. It's a simple fact that that's
emotional. Yeah.
That you're supposed to be connected with your spouse and your spouse only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, man, we're still talking about abandonment.
Yeah.
We're still talking about rejection because this is all forms of abandonment. There's so many ways that you can abandon somebody. And men abandon their wives all the time when it comes to their emotional fears, their emotional insecurities. You know, like women talk all the time, man, babe, I think I'm getting invaded. And how do I look at this dress? It was like, babe, you look fine. And you know what I mean? We don't even give it down. You know what I mean? It's not that we don't give it down. But she's like, man, babe, she gets all dressed up, get her hair made, she puts on her makeup. She's all, you know, she wants some attention. She wants to be seen. She wants a compliment. She wants him to notice that she did something different. And he doesn't even notice it. He doesn't even recognize it. Doesn't even comment on it. And she's like, this motherfucker don't even know me. I did all this stuff and he didn't even recognize it. He didn't even say nothing. It's like, I can't with him no more. You know what I mean?
Stranger in My House by Deborah Cox.
Yes.
Right there. Yes. Leave with no kisses. Goodbye with no words. Yes. That's what it is. And then you're just screaming, look at me, see me, recognize me. And you feel abandoned and you continuously, and then that breeds self-esteem issues. The fear continues, the anxious attachment continues, and the cycle repeats and the cycle repeats. So with gentlemen that have that, and we talked about this before, but they have that mental block, I know that you can't do anything. What can they do to, first they have to be self-aware, but how do they become self-aware, and what do they do to help heal those abandonment, because those are abandonment issues too. They can't connect to their emotions. They have abandonment in that area. So how do they heal from that trauma?
They heal from that just like everybody else does, just like you do, just like I do, just like everybody. It doesn't matter what your issue is. Mm-hmm. None of that matters. It don't matter what the title of your issue is. It all comes back to self. It all comes back to, man, I got to get in tune with me. I got to figure out what the hell's going on with me. You know what I mean? I got to really start liking me. I got to really start valuing me. Because most of us don't even know who we are. I got to get to know me because I've been living a lie my whole life. I've been trying to please and appease everybody my whole life. And so many guys, I gotta be accepted at work, and I gotta act like this at work, and I gotta talk like this, and I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta be embraced by the homies. And what people do, man, so we put on this facade, you know, of being tough and being bad and hard, and like nothing praises us. But we don't even know the little boy inside of us because we've abandoned him as a kid. You know, and so most of us as guys, we'd have no freaking concept of who we really are. You know,
Yeah.
and the trip is, because we don't know who we are, our women start thinking, damn, I don't even know who you are anymore. You're not the guy that I thought you were. You're not the guy that I married. And he's thinking, damn, I don't even know who I am. I'm this way with my homies. I know I'm like this when I'm with my boys. And I know I got to come in and I got to go through the motions with you, got to go through the motions with the kids. You know what I mean? And it's scary because now you want to have these conversations that make me uncomfortable. You want to talk about stuff that are like, oh, babe, do we have to talk about this right now? Babe, I'm tired. We come up with all this stuff so that we'll have to engage in these conversations. You know what I mean? And the trip is, the great majority of women automatically start thinking, it must be some other bitch. It must be some other woman. Because he ain't talking to me. So he has to be talking.
He must be talking to somebody.
Yeah,
it
has to be somebody else. You know what I mean? And
yes.
Let me find a bitch. Let me find a bitch.
Yeah, let me go through that phone and see.
I'm gonna show up to his job unannounced. You know, let me find a bitch. You know what I mean? I'm gonna follow him.
Cover my face. Let me cover my face.
But that's real though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so real. And then the guys, what happens is we've shut down the women, our women in our lives, because we minimize them and we invalidated them and we dismiss their feelings and their fears and their insecurities so long to where they get to the point like, fucking, I'm not talking to them. I'm not having these conversations with them no more. And then the guy sitting there's like, damn, hold on, wait a minute. She ain't acting the same. She ain't talking to me about this. It must be somebody else she's fucking with. It must be somebody else she's talking to. And so he starts going through, again, because of all those insecurities, you know? And so he starts going through her phone. He starts following her. He starts wanting to check up on her, or, you know what I mean? Oh, if she could cheat, then I'm gonna cheat. You know what I mean? It's like, oh.
And then somebody actually cheat. And then this happened to somebody. Happened to somebody I know. And like now their entire 15-year relationship is because of one wasn't showing affection and that one wasn't showing affection and love. The other one went out and found it somewhere else. And then the other one went out and found it somewhere else. And now their family is dissolved. And I actually watched this happen. And it's a couple that got married around the same time. So I only give away too much. But but it's just self-fulfilling prophecy when you live in that way. So what do you do with a person that shuts down every conversation and you just feel like you don't know where to go from there? They're doing the work as far as healing emotional wounds and trauma, but as far as validating the emotional connection and having that deeper connection, how would you encourage or coach that person? They don't want to they usually don't want to hear from their spouse at all. So they're probably more likely to hear from a man. They probably would be more likely to accept it.
And the trip is, and I'm gonna answer your question this way. I've always asked guys, dude, if you don't have this conversation with your wife, would you be okay? And most guys, they hate preachers. Most guys don't want nothing to do with religion.
No.
At all. Why? Because they don't want their wife talking to the pastor. They don't want their wife talking to the preacher. You know what I mean? Because in their mind, it's like,
they know
that not just that they know about them, but that preacher trying to get at my wife.
Yeah.
And there's so many guys that play that game. They don't give a damn about your feelings. They don't give a damn about your emotions. Just use your example. When you come to work, it's like, man, my fucking husband ain't doing this. And so you have these guys, what is he doing? And and oh, and he's showing all this interest in you, and he's like your little girlfriend at work. You know what I mean? He just, oh man, and I would do this for you, and girl, you deserve this, and what do you do? And he starts bringing you little notes, and he starts doing little nice things, and you just feeding all this stuff. He's like, man, he treats me so nice. It's like my brother, and not even knowing that you're falling in love with somebody who's emotionally manipulating you, somebody who's running game on you, and all he wants is fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's playing the game. He's doing all the stuff that your man won't do because he has ulterior motives, and that's just to get the boots. You know what I mean? And so, and it's the same thing with women. Women do the exact same thing. Oh, your wife didn't cook you anything. You always eating in the cafeteria. Man, I'm gonna have to bring you something to eat. I'm gonna have to, man, I make the best lasagna. Oh man, we make the best chili birdie. Oh, I'm gonna bring you something. Oh, you need a wife that cook for you. Man, I can't believe that you work hard as you do and your wife don't do this, and you gotta do this, and you gotta iron your own cook. Man, you wouldn't have to do that if I was your woman. You know what I mean? And so you have both people.
Yes, you were speaking. I worked somewhere that was like that. Oh my God, yes. Next thing you see, the new wife and new husband are off. Yeah. That place destroyed so many marriages. So many. Yeah. And I had guys, but I would always speak so highly. They would always be like, why are you always talking so good? He was my boyfriend at the time. Why are you always talking about your boyfriend? Why are you always saying good stuff about your boyfriend? I didn't realize, naive, and I would come home and tell him, and he was like, they're trying to get at you. They're telling you, like, don't speak highly of me because they're trying to get at you. I'm like, no, they're not. They're my friends. They're so nice. Like, no, they're not. No, they don't. And then women do that. I've had friends that are like, oh, I'm going to take him from his wife. And they work at taking the man from his wife. So and it all pulls back to abandonment and how they were raised and what they experienced. And now they want to inflict that pain on other people, or they haven't healed from their trauma. And so they just keep on reliving those same cycles of abandonment, avoidant, anxious, detached, avoidant, anxious, detached, over and over again until there's nothing left.
And the trip is that as men, we want to be providers. Naturally, that's just who we are. But most of us don't know how to be that provider emotionally. And that's where we fail at. That's the one area that is like our Achilles heel. I mean, we could provide financially, and so many women get to the point of like, man, fuck it. I'll take a broke person that just listens to me and man, they just want to spend some time
attention to me.
Man, they just want to go for a walk with me. They want to go hiking with me. They want to go work out with me. They just want to be a friend. You know what I mean? And it's like, but my husband has a great job and he makes all this money, but he's so disconnected emotionally. You know what I mean? And so what I talk to men all the time about is like, look, dude, your number one responsibility, it's not even about the finances. That's what society tells you.
Because when you said provider, I thought immediately money. And when you said emotional, I said, oh, damn.
That's
provider
the number
is
one.
more than,
That's the number one thing is emotionally. Because you have all these people that have all this money, Will and Jada, perfect example. And their little conflict, whatever it was. Entanglement. You know what I mean? And the trip is because somebody wasn't emotionally connected. Somebody had some abandonment issues that wasn't being resolved. You know what I mean? And the trip is, I'm not responsible for your abandonment issues at all, in any way, shape, or form. Whatever your issues you got, that's not my responsibility. But my responsibility is to be here for you. My responsibilities is to try to help you through it in any way I can, if that makes sense. And so if you have, and that's part of the providing that we as men don't even see. Miles Monroe, I've studied so much of his writings and his teaching. That's the area where most guys fail at. It's the emotional responsibility that they have for their wife, for their daughters. You know what I mean? We'll sit down, we have these heart-to-heart conversations with our sons. but we're scared as hell of having a heart-to-heart conversation about with our wives. You know what I mean? We'll have a conversation with our sons about sex, and we'll get deep and in depth. We're terrified of having that conversation with our daughters. You know what I mean?
It's all conditioning. That's
It's all
very, very
conditioning.
true. Conditioning how we were.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
the one thing that we have to teach our men is, look, dude, I don't care what you buy her. You could buy her a Louis Vuitton every other weekend.
Yeah.
If you don't be there for her emotionally, she's gonna leave, and she's gonna find somebody that will. And you're gonna be brokenhearted, and you're gonna get pissed off and think that she's been cheating on you the whole time, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, she's a tramp, and she was a gold digger, and blah, 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 blah. And it's not even about the material stuff. It's the simple fact that she just wanted somebody to spend some quality time with her. She just wanted somebody to be there for her emotionally.
Yep.
To support her emotionally, so that whatever fears, whatever insecurities she's had, you provided an environment to where she felt safe and comfortable enough to where she could come talk to you about that. Because if she can't come talk to you, you're not her best friend. And that's the thing that I try to tell people when they go into relationships. Your goal is to be that person's best friend. Because if that person has a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and they're more comfortable with this other person, talking about stuff with this other person than they are with you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem. There's an emotional disconnect. There's a problem there. And then, and if that problem isn't being resolved, it's, what's the Bible say? It's like, not sin, but what is it? Yeast. It's gonna grow. It's gonna fester, and it's gonna fester, and it's gonna spread throughout the rest of the relationship. Because you can't trust them to be their emotional. Dang, what else can I not trust them about? Dang, I can't trust them to be here emotional. I can't trust them to have these heart-to-heart conversations with me. Can I really trust him when he said he's going out and hang out with his friends? Can I really trust him that he's doing this and that? Can I really trust that he has my best interest at heart? Because if I can't be me and crying and snotting and emotional, whatever the case might be, if I can't be me and be as transparent as possible, and if he can't accept me and embrace me and love me for me, then how can I really trust him, think that he's doing that in anything else?
It's like the whole relationship is a lie.
Yes.
Like the whole relationship is a lie. And this person, they have abandonment issues.
Yes.
They have, they don't recognize, they both do. And they're trauma bonded. They're trauma bonded.
Yes.
And so what the one person is pulling away, the other person is seeking. And it's things that we've seen in our childhood that we're repeating now, or that we've experienced later on in adult relationships.
Yes.
So some tools to help with abandonment from your perspective and the people that you coach. What are some tools that they can, if they're starting to exhibit the clinging behavior or the avoidant behavior, what are some tools that you think are beneficial that we can do in real life and action, real time, to kind of get us out of that abandonment mentality?
It's hard to really say that because we all manifest abandonment issues different.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like some guys, they have abandonment issues and they're clingy tail. You can't go nowhere. You know what I mean? They don't trust you at all. You know what I mean? At all. You know what I mean? And so that's totally different from the guy that's like, man, do you? You know what I mean? But he's so disconnected. Just do you. As long as you're at home at nighttime and you got dinner cooked and the house is clean, man, I don't care. Do you? You know what I mean? I'm gonna do me. And so there's so many different, that spectrum is so wide, you know what I mean, as far as abandonment, because you could go to that from that far end of, man, I'm just gone. I'm detached completely. I'm here financially. I'm here to take a shower and to clean up and to eat. But emotionally, I'm not here. You know what I mean? Intellectually, I'm really not here. You know what I mean? To that far other opposite end of the spectrum of this dude he's like stalkerish almost. He is a stalker. Yeah. He won't let you go anywhere. Every time somebody calls you, who's that? You know what I mean? Oh, it's just Mary Jane, or is it? Let me see, because you probably got Mary Jane's name in there, but it's some dude texting you. You know what I mean? And so you got this crazy,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
spectrum. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
spectrum of what you can
so it's
do.
hard to
Yeah.
say, okay, well, this is what you need to do because it's so different. It's so vast, and
Yes.
everybody's situation is drastically different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's all abandonment issues. You know what I mean? It's all abandonment issues. Everybody just has different ways of dealing with it. And it's just the one thing that I tell guys all the time is like, look, you're gonna have to deal with your stuff. You're gonna have to deal with your stuff.
Okay.
Because if you don't deal with your issues, you're gonna lose her. If you don't deal with your issues, you're gonna lose your kids. How much is she worth to you?
Mhm.
Because the majority of guys, they don't start showing emotions until you're gone.
Mhm.
Now they want to cry and they want to have these heart-to-heart conversations when you've already checked out.
Yeah.
You might still be there, but you've checked out. You know what I mean? Now they want to come and have these heart-to-heart conversations because now they understand what they've lost.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so, but it's too late.
Yeah.
Once they see that you moved on or whatever the case may be, now they want to cry. Now they want to open up. Now they want to listen to you and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But it's like, hey,
And you know, and you can't, you've already tuned. Yeah.
I'm done. I'm gone. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Yeah.
I, I don't have nothing for you.
So sometimes it's just too late.
Yeah, it is too late.
Sometimes it's just too late. But so for people that are actually actively trying to do it, I know that for me, the ABC thing that I said, the awareness, so mindfulness practices every day. That's meditation, that's prayer, just being alone and connecting with your body, with your spirit, with yourself. For breath, focus breathing. Wim Hof is a really good technique. I don't know if you know Wim Hof, but like there's another breathing technique like 7-7-7 or 6 seconds in, breathe in 6 seconds, hold for 4, then breathe out 6 seconds. There are different breathing techniques you can use that are available. I'm sure that Elijah has plenty of them with his coaching stuff, and you can even look online. And then again, the last one is the body scan with cued responses. So as you're relaxing, as you're letting the muscles in your head loosen and untie, then you can tell yourself, relax. And then you move on to the next section of your body and relax. And you can again search. I mean, all of these resources are on Meetup or on YouTube, or you can actually just reach out to your own therapist and they can help you with it too, so that you actually have real tools and the things that I actually helped me and still helping me in the process of healing and getting myself and out of that state of abandonment and thinking of trying to think of ways to have more secure attachment to people than a fear. Again, fear equals neural pathways equals repeating of the cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's great that you bring that stuff up. The reality is you're responsible for you first and foremost. You can't change anybody else. And the reality, we're all here for our own growth and development. We're all here for our own growth and development. It don't matter how much you love this person, no matter how much you want to be with this person, no matter how much you have invested in this person, you can't change anyone at all.
No.
You know what I mean? And so
There's free will.
Yeah, don't even try to think that you could get the education. Oh, I'm going to watch all these videos. I'm going to do all this stuff, and I'm going to keep talking to them, because what you're going to do is push that person away.
No, this isn't for anybody but you. When we're talking about everybody, everybody, this is for your own personal growth and development. This is not to try to change your partner so your relationship works. Your relationship is probably toxic, and you just focus on yourself. Please. Just no. This isn't, we're relationship counseling. This is self inner work, not outer work.
Yes. And so
I'm being summoned by the crew.
So man, I thank you for this conversation. We got
we can go forever. I know.
We got real deep in this, and my hope and prayer is that we understand that, man, we all have some abandonment issues. we've all abandoned ourselves. We've all rejected ourselves, you know? And so, man, it's all about self-love. It's all about self-love, you know, learning to love yourself, learning to come back home.
Yeah,
Learning
remembering.
to, yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say in the closing?
I just say that you shed light on something that I really appreciate, and that's that we're abandoning ourselves
Yes.
when we don't live in our authentic self. And I'm actually reading a book called Something More. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's just about excavating your authentic self. And so something just really resonated when I realized that, yes, you are starting to abandon yourself in order to help someone else with their abandonment issues. And it's something that I really had never thought about before. And so just really focusing on your authentic self. Remember who you are. Remember the little girl that drew pictures from hand. Remember the little girl that could do hair. Remember the little boy that could take apart a radio and put it back together. That's who you are. Yeah. That encouraging person, that smile. Let your smile shine. Let your light shine. Let the world see you. You have something to give, and I can't wait to see it. I just can't wait. I'm excited about. I met someone the other day and she was telling me about all her problems. And I said, what is your life like in 10 years? And she came up with the name of her business. And so every time I talk to her now, I said, hello, Picture Perfect by Pilar. You will see her esthetician company one day. So just start focusing. I always bring everything back to purpose-driven life. Yes. You have a purpose. Discover it, and don't let anything take you away from it. When you're feeling discouraged, this is my purpose. When you're feeling like I can't do this, or I'm going to have an extra drink, you can't do that because you have a purpose. Follow your purpose. Live in your purpose. Listen to wise people that God has put in your life. Take the lessons. The truth is an offense, but not a sin. Take the lessons, learn and grow. Use the tools and use your community. You are so blessed to be in this time, in this place, to have free tools. This is a free tool. This is free counseling. To have this free tool that someone takes their time to give back in this way. Use it, absorb it, watch it 50 times, and know that you have love and know that you have support. And there are people out there praying for you and hoping with you and have been as damaged as you and are doing the work to get better. So that's all.
Growth and development is an ugly process. It's an ugly, beautiful process.
Yes.
Because it's painful, it's hard, it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful on the flip side.
Butterfly.
Yes, it's the butterfly.
Yeah,
so, man, Shana, I thank you. I salute you for coming on and just for who you are, all the studying and just all that you bring to the table. Man, I commend you, and I look forward to working with you more. And I'm going to talk to my business partner, and I want to set up this YouTube where we can get at least 4 of us, me and another man and you 2 young ladies, and have this heart-to-heart conversation about relationships and just the dynamics of all of that, you know, because there's
all of it, the full thing.
There's so much contention and animosity and bitterness and just issues between men and women that we need to start bridging the gap, learning and understanding about each other and healing from. So, man, I would love to have you on that council with me.
I would be honored, man. Seriously. I'm all about healing and restoration. And I want us to get along and love each other again.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Well, thank you, guys.
Your kids are calling you. So
they are going crazy. Yeah. And my husband's like, Shana, hurry up.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate everything. Talk to you later.
No problem. Take it easy. Bye-bye. You done?
Hey, family. We're going to change the world. One person, one heart, and one mind at a time. We have to be the bridge that takes people from their darkness, their pain, their trauma, and ignorance to a place of peace, love, joy, and gratitude. Check out my website, ElijahAmmi.com. I love you guys. Happy healing.